While I'm talking to you, I'm standing on one foot. Why in the world would I do that? It's because it's fall equinox. Hi, I'm Diana Rankin, a psychic medium, a spiritual guide, a coach, an author, and someone who loves ritual. And what a perfect time to do a ritual. I'm standing here on a beautiful September day. You can see the cornfields behind me, which is why I chose to come out here, because they're browning. It's a time for harvest. It's also the time of fall equinox, or equinox, however you prefer to pronounce it. I think both are correct, and who cares as long as we celebrate it. There are two things that this equinox means for us. In the September, usually right around the 21st, it is the time that this daytime and nighttime are of equal balance. This morning when I was out walking, it was wonderful because I could see the sky coming up in the east, or excuse me, the sun coming up in the east, and at the same time, over in the west was this beautiful moon, not full anymore, but just so big and bright and just lovely. And it was such a beautiful picture to see that balance of the daylight and the sun, and then the balance over here of the moon in the nighttime. You know, we need that balance in our life. We forget that we have the sunlight, and we must cherish it when we have it and just let it play on our faces and be wonderful. But we also have plenty of darkness in our lives, and that's when we have to look at the sky and really find the stars and the moon in the sky, in the darkness, and that's where we can find happiness in our lives, when we're able to do that. How do we do that? Well, I want to give you a very simple exercise today to be able to find balance, but I want to also talk about the other importance of fall equinox, and that is the harvest. So let's start with balance. I mentioned to you that I've been standing on one foot. I was going to step back and demonstrate that for you, but there's a breeze blowing and you won't be able to hear me if I step too far back. So what I want you to be able to do is, if you haven't done this before, you may want to have something that you can hold on to, but you just step on one foot, either right or left foot, whichever you prefer, it doesn't matter. Step on that foot and hold the other one up. I can do this while I'm standing in line at the grocery store or the bank or whatever. And right now I happen to be standing on my right foot. So if we stop and think about what that means, we know that the brain is right brain, left brain, and that those cross over in the body. So we know the left brain tends to be our more logical side. It tends to be the outgoing, the stepping outward in our lives. So if we need more help with the logic, with the stepping out, I always say that I have to stand on my right foot when I'm trying to add a column of numbers, or when I'm trying to do my taxes, for example. I've got to stand on that right foot. So just stand on that right foot, and it strengthens that left brain, and it strengthens that right side of the body to help us step out into our greatness in the world. Now the left side of our body, which is the right side of our brain, but it crosses over, that's more about the feminine energy. And so that's more of the nurturing energy. That's the taking in energy. And that's where when we stand on the left side of when we stand on that left foot, we're actually, it's more about self-care. It's more about, again, the feminine energy. And so we need both. We need to balance the right and the left. And we can do that simply by, if only for 10 seconds, stand on the right foot and then stand on the left. Or if you prefer, stand on the left and then stand on the right. You'll notice that one side is stronger than the other. So you may want to spend a little more time on the weaker side than on the stronger side. If you can do it for 30 seconds, yay! If you can do it for 2 minutes or longer, hooray! Do it, as long as you can. And that will help to balance the body. As we start to balance the energy in the body, we're going to find our life will start saying, okay, now you have to balance your life. So let's say, for example, you're spending too much time at work. I know that one well. If you stand too much on the right leg, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to really work on the left leg, and then so you stand on the left leg, and you find that that side might be a little weaker, and then you simply ask yourself, what do I need to balance my life out better? This is a perfect time for that balance. Remember, this is the time where day and night are equal. So we have the sun and the moon equal. It's the only day of the year where we have that equal balance. Take time to balance on this fall equinox. It's the perfect time for it. It's the only time, I want to correct myself. I said it's the only time of the year. Well, we only have one fall equinox every year. We will have another one in the spring, which will give us that chance for balancing as well. But don't wait. Do it now. All right. I said I had a second thought for you. And as I mentioned, you can see the corn behind me, which was green all summer, and now it's brown. It's time for harvest. And what does that mean about us and our lives? It's time for us to reap what we've sown. It's time for us to be grateful for all that we have. So before the day is over, before tomorrow morning, sometime in this equality of day and night, now is the time to write down, make a list, speak aloud that for which you are grateful. And I know everybody can find at least one thing, but make a list bigger than that. Make it as big as you can. Really thanking Source and thanking life and thanking the universe for all that you have, for this bountiful harvest. And then start thinking about, what have I sown that I can now reap? And write that down. So you might even want to do it while you're standing on one foot. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for reaping a bountiful harvest. Thank you so much for this beautiful day that I've been given to share with you. This is Diana Rankin saying, I love you. I'm so glad we were together today.